now in session. I'm the Chief Judge, Uri Glenville presiding. Court come to order.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. All right, we're back on the record in the matter of the state of Georgia versus Khalif Adams et al. In 22 SC 183572. All right, Mr. Stilwell and Mr. Botts and Mr. Sharp, good morning. All right, Mr. Williams, Mr. Steele, and Mr. Adams, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All right. Good morning, Ms. Halterwinger. Where's Mr. Monsbach? I saw him walking around here a second ago. All right. Okay, he's here. All right.
I know. You want to know what we want? We want the stuff to stop. If y'all was just making music, I like rap music. I like some thug music every now and then. Yeah. But that ain't what's going on. That's a fake card for fueling all this other stuff. It didn't start till we got sued. Exactly. Yeah.
One more time, please.
All fish. That's not to insult you. That's being real. Like, I know. You want to know what we want? We want the stuff to stop. If y'all was just making music, I like rap music. I like some thug music every now and then. Yeah. But that ain't what's going on. That's a fake card for fueling all this other stuff. It didn't start till we got sued. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Detective Dennis on lines 14 through 16, part of it is I like some of Thug's music now and then, or to that effect. It's not if he has any. And then on line 22 of 499, it does say when it didn't start till we got with Thug.
But what does that mean?
I don't know. I'm just listening to it. Okay, so Jenny, you want to listen to it as well? I mean, I'll give you the opportunity. Give the opportunity to do so.
I don't disagree that what's in the transcript is
it's not quite accurate. It's close in regards to that particular portion of what Detective Den starts off with. Okay. All right. Based upon the court's listening to this particular portion of lines 14 through 22, the court is of the opinion that it is opinion by Detective Dennis and it is speculation. So I'm going to exclude it at this time and omit it.
Mr. Copeland knows the individuals to whom he's been talking about. He has spent time with them. He is friends with them. He considers some of them like his brothers. We have pictures of them together. So he can, based upon his own opinion, can say, this is who I think will talk to you all, based upon his interactions and his lay opinion, Your Honor. So the fact that he tells them, here's who I think you should talk to, here's who I think will talk to you, is a proper opinion that he can give. And it's clear that it's an opinion because he talks about Doo-Wop versus Shannon versus Demikion. And he tells them, here's who I think you should go to first. But if you go to this person first, they're going to know that I told something.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Or hijack you just for a second.
Sure.
Did you ask Mr. Copeland about this on direct already?
Ask Mr. Copeland
on direct about any of his discussions with Detective Dennis in regards to this part of the investigation. I don't recall it being asked.
About if he told the detectives who he should speak with in regarding this case. No, I don't believe I asked him directly that specific question.
Right. I'm gonna exclude it for foundation right now. I'm not saying it may not be admissible for other reasons later, but I agree with Mr. Adams. It is speculation and opinion is not relevant under 401 at this point in time. However, having said that, if somebody opens the door as to it, or if you continue with your direct examination, lay a foundation as to ask him any about that, then I'll reconsider.
Regarding page 361.
Yes, line 15 through 17. And I believe the portion that's at issue is where he says Shannon shot Nut is what the court wanted to hear if I had asked him questions about the murder of Donovan Thomas.
Can I just go back and make sure we're on the same page with everything leading up to this? Because, Your Honor, I too, I know what Ms. Hilton's speaking of, but I also had in my notes 361 through 10. So, can I just confirm?
361 line 1 through 362 line 10.
361 line 10 to 362 line 10.
Okay, I originally had line 1. All right, so okay.
So 361 line 1 through 12 will say the state has agreed that that's coming out. Is that correct?
No.
Okay, so all of this is in dispute, right?
No. From what you gave us originally, the only thing that was in dispute was Shannon shot up Lil Wayne's tour bus. Shannon shot Nut. Shannon does whatever Thug says. That was
on my list. It says page 361, line 1 to 362, line 10.
All right, so is the state agreeing to a portion of this to be redacted, or what are you saying?
the only portion that we agreed to be redacted is on line 16. Shannon shot up that tour bus.
Okay.
Line 16, and that's on page what, madam?
Page 361.
All right, and
And it says the specific sentence is Shannon shot up that tour bus. And I believe, Your Honor, on Monday, you were holding off ruling to determine whether or not I had asked Mr. Copeland about the murder of Donovan Thomas. And you wanted me to confirm with Madam Court Reporter that I did ask Mr. Copeland while on the stand about the night of Donovan Thomas's murder. Would be impeachment by prior inconsistent statement, impeachment by contradiction. He said, I made it up to clear myself, and that's it.
you sure?
That's not true. The state's skipping a step. First of all, impeachment by contradiction is bringing in, it's not supposed to be prior inconsistent statements. That is
No, it's anything that the witness testifies inconsistently with earlier. I mean,
well,
so
respectfully, that's what prior inconsistent statements are.
it can be.
Contradiction, Your Honor, is witness named Jeff says the light was red at the time of the crash. You bring in witness Brian that says no, the light was actually green at the time of the crash. That's impeachment by contradiction. You bring in another witness to testify about how the first witness was incorrect or wrong or contradictory. Prior inconsistent statements is a type of impeachment contradiction using a witness's prior statements. And so what the state is missing here is they're saying, did Demekion, they're saying the foundation is laid by saying, did Demekion, was Demekion in the car? Did Demekion say anything? Kenneth Copeland is saying no. But that's not the correct question to lay the foundation for prior inconsistent statements. They need to say very specifically, they need to ask, did you tell police that Demekion Garlington told you this on this date? That lays the foundation. And they're also confusing the issue by including Shannon in these conversations, which has never been said by Mr. Copeland. So if they say, did Demekion and Shannon, did you tell the police that Demekion and Shannon told you that so-and-so, whatever happened on January 10, 2015, he would be correct to say, no, I never told the police that. And there would be nothing inconsistent because he has never put Shannon as a party to any of these conversations. They need to specifically ask, did you tell the police, not did it happen, but did you tell the police that Demekion Garlington told you this?
I understand and so forth. I think an hour will be sufficient for you all to
Okay. All right.
The police, let him jump on me. These niggas crazy, man.
Man, whoever has so many problems, and whoever in the jail, all that jumping, that bush ain't steady, man. Bush ain't steady, man.
This shit here a drag, bro.
Man, what the hell you talking about? You already know I know what's happening. Some of y'all locked up, I was already like, what the hell, what they talking about? Now I'm talking about nobody. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Man, I don't stop right in front of these folks and look at these folks call that shit on the phone.
Yeah.
I made Bentley call her. Like, call her. See what the fuck going on. Because of probation, that's just a little bullshit. But the probation will try to hold you. Just about their money or whatever. So I already know that. I just said, I was just gave him a lawyer, look, 3-4 bank, $2,500. You know, he'll bring you.
You have 1 minute left.
He'll get you in the courtroom for $2,500. You know, that ain't shit.
They don't even want that much. One lawyer had told
I know.
Yeah. So listen, I might have this son text you my information and stuff. You said you try to have me in the morning.
Yeah, I had a lawyer or whatever lawyer you choose.
I don't have none.
Well, I could just have somebody pull up on their son and bring their son the money. Then you see what I'm saying? Or they can have mom or daddy, because you know they probably know something about the shit. So I can just make anybody go get the money. I can make them pull up to the club, get the money from Ken or anything. Right now, you see what I'm saying? So that ain't no question.
Shit, we don't know no lawyer though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know my lawyer.
So you?
I know mine. I ain't got the number. Hit him. I just tell him. He already got my card and everything. He already got my card and his system and shit. So I ain't got the number. Just hit him. Like, go check on this number right here, and you can go check on this name. And
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.
I did not hear Brian or Mr. Steele's name at all.
Mr. Steele, I can't say I heard it either. Do you have a time reference you can point me to again? I'll listen to it again.
Very 15:12 is what I'm being told.
Okay, let's play about right at 15 minutes, please.
Hello.
Oh. Chris, can I listen to this? Okay, all right. Counsel, I'm going to listen to it through the ear audio system. You're welcome to listen to it as well again. All right? Mr. Steele, any further? They're going to edit. They're going to not play that. I do hear your name. At least what's represented to be Brian. So that will be excluded.
Not the part that you just ordered to be staged or not played.
It's not going to be played.
Be clear that we're not just playing his name, but the fact he says, you know, my lawyer, and we'll stop where it says, before it says Brian. And then we'll play after that as well.
All right.
I don't know the relevance. And then it gets cut off. So I'm objecting to that.
To the relevance of, you know, my lawyer.
Yeah.
Or that part of the tape?
What difference does that make?
Okay. State?
We believe that as a part of the RICO conspiracy, the fact that the leader is offering up his lawyer to pay for another co-conspirator to gang to get out of jail is relevant information. Who it is, that's fine. But the fact that he's offering up his lawyer for another co-conspirator is relevant.
Mr. Steele, anything else?
Yes, it was a conversation that got cut off. If you look at the records, or if the state bothers to look at the records, I did not have anything to do with Mr. Copeland ever. I don't know who represented Mr. Copeland, so I believe that it is irrelevant. It's just a conversation that was then cut off. So you don't get the entirety of the thought. So I do, if they're going to argue, they being the state's going to argue, oh, Mr. Williams is going to use his personal lawyer, that's not a true statement, so it's misleading. It's an incomplete, it's unfortunate, but I don't think anyone did it, but I think the securist cuts off at
15 minutes, yeah. The other thing is, I think that, well, the court heard there's some conversation prior to that, because we played the last 2 minutes, in regards to representation. So I think that's what it's made in reference to, even though they don't complete the conversation. But Ms. Hilton, anything else?
That will go to weight, not admissibility. He can surely ask, if he chooses to ask Mr. Copeland any questions, did you ever get a lawyer? So he can ask Mr. Copeland that question.
Mr. Steele, anything else before I rule?
I just don't think it's needed to say my lawyer. That's what I'm objecting to. I don't mind the conversation about I need a lawyer. I think Mr. Williams says get any lawyer you want, something to that effect. It's not a quote. But I don't see the need to say I have my lawyer, I have his business card, I can call my lawyer. I don't see how that is relevant. And then it gets cut off. So I don't know if that means what the state is saying is, oh, and then he's going to get Mr. Williams' personal lawyer for Mr. Copeland. That's not what it says.
And that would be certainly speculation.
That
would be speculation, but I think they get at least to play, based upon what they proffered so far, I think they get to play it. And also it's very limited as to what it can be said about it. Because unless Mr. Copeland, has some frame of reference, but.
I don't disagree with that, but I would like to leave it after I need money for a lawyer. These are not quotes. But, they're discussing, I need money for a lawyer. I don't know any lawyer. A statement is made, we'll get any lawyer you want, and then just end it there, rather than I have my own lawyer and I have him on Rolodex or whatever I don't think Rolodex would use, but whatever those terms are, at that point I would end it. That's my request to the court. I also object.
Let me see if the state has any further issues to that.
Your Honor, relevant evidence is any evidence that tends to prove an issue. We believe that the fact that the leader of the gang is offering up his lawyer to his co-conspirator is relevant for this jury to determine whether or not there is a RICO gang conspiracy. And so we believe that is relevant, because the argument is relevant. It also comes in because it's a party opponent admission. This is the defendant Williams telling Mr. Copeland that I will provide. He said, specifically what Mr. Copeland says is, I don't know any lawyers. And he said, you can call my lawyer, is what he actually says. So I think reading it in context, he's saying, okay, you don't know any, but I'll provide mine, or you can potentially use mine. Whether or not he used him or not, that is a question that can be asked of Mr. Copeland. But the fact that he was willing to offer up the lawyer is what is important, not the result of it.
All right. Sir.
I think this is a very bad point in our community if we are now going to say offering to get someone a lawyer is part of a RICO conspiracy. This is a probation revocation case on supposed non-compliance with community service. I know you haven't heard the whole.
I haven't, sir.
But that's what the recording before we started at 13:30. That's what it's about. Mr. Copeland says, and it basically mirrors what he said on the witness stand. He said, the police had me locked up. These are my words, trumped up charges because my probation officer didn't take out a warrant on me, but the supervisor was asked by the police to take out a warrant on me because of community service hours. I will be getting out on Friday. This is a Wednesday. I'll be getting out on a Friday, and I believe it's a Wednesday. I'll be getting out on Friday when I go to court, but I don't have a lawyer, so it gets continued for me to get a lawyer. So I'm held hostage, basically, by the way the courts are. So Mr. Williams is not part of any of that conversation. He then allegedly gets on the telephone and has a conversation, and that is explained to Mr. Williams as well. I go to court Friday, but I don't have a lawyer. To then say that it's part of a conspiracy to get a lawyer for someone going to court on a probation revocation case, I think is a bridge too far. To say you're going to get a lawyer, I don't have a problem with that. But to say I offered up my lawyer because that is symbolic of a crime, seems to me that if that type of evidence comes in courts, we are all in trouble, because that's what we want people to do. We want people to get lawyers. So I'm objecting to the state's playing that portion. I'm not objecting to the portion that Mr. Williams allegedly is on the phone and is offering to potentially help with a lawyer. I don't have a problem with that. If the state wants to then argue that's somehow part of a conspiracy, I'll argue against it. But to then go further and say, aha, and this is a crime organization and the lawyers are part of the criminal activity, I think that is under 403. It should never be said in any courtroom unless there's proof of it. That lawyers protect criminal parties.
Your Honor, the state never said, I don't even know where Mr. Steele got that last assertion from. The state said what is relevant is that he was willing to offer up his attorney to represent him. That is where it ends. And everything else Mr. Steele said is great for closing argument. But the relevance of it comes in, and then he can argue all of that, what he just said in closing.
It's relevant. It's more probative than prejudicial under 403, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll allow it. I'll give you a continuing objection, Mr. Steele, in that respect. Because I understand what you're saying, Mr. Steele. It's a valid point. But what I don't want to do is I want to minimize the disruption from the jury. So if we have agreement, then, or if you need to just object, I'll say as earlier noted. So, yes, I think that would be a much better way to potentially present this.
I could have that. I didn't write down the timestamp, but I could do that. So flag using the timestamp.
Yes. And then you could tell me, for example, to go to, 12 minutes and 15 seconds, it's hearsay, it's not within any exception, or it's speculation, or, whatever. And I'll let the state respond, and I can rule, kind of similar to what I did with the audio videotape interviews. If that's the case, I think that would probably be a better use of our time.
And again, Your Honor, the portions that we sent an email yesterday are the portions we intend to play. So there's only 2 calls that we intend to play the entirety of it, but the other calls we've broken down specifically the areas that we think are relevant. And so,
okay, the first call is like 15 minutes.
So only the first and the 5th call are the full 15 minutes. The calls are 15 minutes. So only the first and the 5th, we intend to play the full calls. However, calls 2.
Is that the June 10th call at 2038?
Yes, Your Honor. So in the June 10th call, the only portions we intended to play is 4:12 through 11:10, and then picking back up again at 11:45 through 15:26.
All right.
And then for June 13th, the only portions we intend to play is 00 through 6:05.
That's still a fair amount of time, though.
It is. So they definitely are, but I just want to make sure that they're not listening to the whole tape and saying, I want to just keep the guides of what we intend to play, so defense knows the parameters that we intend to play when they're reviewing it to determine their verdict, to determine what they're objecting to.
Okay.
Man, I swear, every day, every single day, bro, this YSL case, it's always some new shit that either the DA is trying to pull or the judge is going against, or sometimes he's going with. Listen, if anything out of this case should be an eye-opener and and a teachable moment for all the youngsters out there, all the quote unquote gangsters and criminals, if you're doing whatever you're doing, is don't trust just anybody, bro. Don't trust just anybody. You got to understand that Thug basically took Lil Woody under his wing. You know what I'm saying? And Lil Woody is the main one now that they're using to try and take Thug down, from everything from him being on the stand, going against, you know, what he said in those interrogation videos, to using those interrogation videos, like everything he said in there, like, you know what I'm saying? They're using Woody is like, at this point in the case, they're trying to use everything that Woody said or that did, and really all the shit that he said against Thug to get Thug cooked. Now, am I saying that's what's gonna happen? Nah, I ain't saying that's what's gonna happen. I'm just saying they trying, you know what I'm saying? And if you look at it, Thug was being nothing but pretty much until he started getting the feeling that Woody was talking to the police. Thug had been nothing short of a brother to him, you know what I'm saying? Gave him chains, gave him money, let him drive his car, you know, all like, he trusted him, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, had a special place in his heart for Lil Woody, you know what I'm saying? Even down to the point where that phone call that you just heard, he was telling Lil Woody, I'm gonna get you a lawyer. And he was trying to get the nigga a lawyer, and man, look, it ain't nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? Well, if you want to find a lawyer, however you want to do it. And that was about a probation violation. That wasn't like nobody got shot. Woody wasn't accused of shooting nobody or nothing crazy. You know, his PR or whoever, they was trying to, you know, get him tricked up for not doing community service. Thug at him like, nigga, you ain't complete your community service? Nigga, fuck you, nigga. You better, nigga, you know what I'm saying? He said, man, don't even worry about it, bro. And now look at them. Ironically, him trying to help Woody in that situation, all them situations, is now being used against him to put him away for 20 to life. And the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? Do I think that's fair? No, not the part we're using the lawyer thing, because, I mean, it's not like the shit that Woody was in there was for some criminal YSL shit. So how the fuck, if Thug did say, hey man, I'm gonna get you my lawyer or whatever, that's what is that? How is that proving that that has nothing to do with the RICO? Now I can see if Woody was locked up for shooting a nigga, that somebody that was beefing with them or doing something, you know what I'm saying, in furtherance of YSL, and then Thug like, hey, I'm gonna get you a lawyer. I can kind of see what the point they're trying to make there. But for him to be locked up for a fucking probation violation over some community service, and then Thug just like, hey man, I'm gonna get you a lawyer. What the fuck is the crime in that? You know what I'm saying? Like, just because they quote unquote supposed to be YSL, that the shit that Woody was locked up for was not YSL related. There wasn't no gang initiation, no gang beef. It wasn't nothing like that. So why is that a problem? And it's funny because, like, a lot of y'all be saying in the comments, bro, the judge be on some biased shit. He do. Because he gonna let him use that shit. Like, bro, you gonna let him use that? It's crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? But this is what happens when you jump out in them streets and you think you got it all figured out. You trying to, what that nigga say on casuals, everything around me? I got with a sick type team and went all out. Like, you want to get with a stupid sick team, and next thing you know, your fucking team or a couple of your teammates is pointing the motherfucking finger at you. Even directly pointing the finger at you, and been snitching, and you know what I'm saying? Indirectly and directly pointing the fucking finger at you. I will say that the judge did handle the prosecution 2 times, maybe 1 or 2 times, a couple times today, by saying, nah, nigga, you reaching. Because the prosecution, they are just grabbing straws. They throwing shit at the wall, watching it. But some of the shit just ain't good. You know what I'm saying? But they don't give a fuck. They're going to try to use any which way. Obviously, to me, it seemed like Woody is their star witness. If they pause his testimony to take a whole week and a half, 2 weeks to go through all this interrogation footage, I feel like Woody all they got. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. But another day, man. We going on day 100 next. So if I'm not mistaken, day 100. Yeah, day 100 is next one, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. YSL Rico. Another day down, man. Y'all let me know what you think. I come on over this one. Yo!